Welcome inside episode 542 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. It's a practice day for the Ottawa Senators, but it's a playoff game day for the Ottawa 67's. And on today's show, we catch up with our good buddy, Tyler Boucher.
And speaking of playoffs, Ross, the Belleville Senators made their playoff hopes a little bit better with a huge 5-4 win up against the Toronto Marlies last night.
In regulation as well. Guess who scored again? We'll tell you all that and more. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.
Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen on this Thursday, April 21st. And Pillsy, I don't know if we're going to get to see Tim Stützle this weekend.
Yeah, we just finished listening to DJ Smith on TSN 1200, and he mentioned that Timmy's feeling pretty hurt, even that he was limping around a little, and that he will not be practicing today. So that's not a good sign. Another player added to this long list of injuries, and that's we'll get into Belleville later, but poor Belleville Senators, just when they start stringing along a win streak, and now they're getting all a bunch of good players plucked from them just so that Ottawa has enough guys to have a roster to play games. So these are tough times coming down the stretch, but this is what it's like to play a full regular season. Like, these kinds of things are going to happen. Guys are going to get banged up as the year goes along. So we'll see, but we're hoping that Timmy can be there for that Montreal game. Oh boy.
I know, that would be such a disappointing way to roll into the weekend. The guy's just electric, and he's got that storyline surrounding him for that game too.
Yeah,
so of course we want to see him in the lineup, but we want him to be 100% as well. He took that knee on knee. Was it more of a knee on knee? A little bit. Definitely not the same as the Suzuki one, but
No.
Against Vancouver the other day, he certainly didn't feel great after that hit. He went off the ice to the locker room, but tough kid, man. He came back and battled it out. So he will not practice today. Practice a little later on in the day, but like you said, DJ Smith already announcing he will not practice today. Hopeful maybe that he plays either tomorrow or on Saturday. In the meantime, Mark Kastelic has been recalled from the Belleville Sens. He's played great, scored a goal last night. But this guy, DJ Smith, called him the strongest guy in the organization. Easy to pencil him in as a fourth liner next year. Why not get him more reps here down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I would love for the fourth line next year to be Parker Kelly, Casty, and Watson. Like, that looks pretty good to me, and I think that's likely the scenario that's going to play out here.
Yeah, so 11 NHL games so far for Mark Kastelic. He's got 2 assists in those games. He's gotten 1 fight already, and he's done great in the faceoff dot too. 62% in the faceoff circle. So just kind of showing that strength, something that usually young centermen struggle with, is being able to snap them back against the strength of these men in the NHL. So good to see Kastelic able to do that, and excited to see him back in the lineup. Check in at Sens Central a little later on today, and we'll let you know what the lines are with Tim Stützle out. Colin White still on COVID protocol as well, so we aren't sure when and if he comes back. So sounds like it wasn't a false positive or anything. Sounds like he is suffering from symptoms, because it has been the 5 days since he's been placed on, so he would be eligible to come off.
Yeah, and I mean, geez, coming a back-to-back scenario coming up here. Hopefully Colin White's good to go, because it's crazy when you start looking at who the Senators have here. Like, Victor Mete might have to play forward again if they can't call guys up in time. Like, they're up against the Syracuse Crunch. Belleville is on Friday, and that's a massive game for Belleville, as Syracuse is the team that's right next to them. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. That's for sure.
This entire weekend will be very interesting, Pillsy. And it all culminates on Monday. We're going to be at the game for the 67's when they host Game 3 of their series against North Bay, but it gets underway tonight. Before we get to our interview with Tyler Boucher on the other side, we're going to touch on the Belleville Senators, recap their game last night. I got to say, there's some good series here with Sens prospects around the Canadian Hockey League. However, it sounds, sources say, Ridley Gregg does not seem close to returning to Brandon. There was some hope. We said that one of the trainers said they expected him back, but I can confirm that he's not close, and Brandon does not expect him back.
Brutal news. I mean, like, if there's ever a time you want to see Ridley Gregg perform, it's playoffs, right? Especially playoffs in the dub, which of all three CHL leagues, that's the most physical league, and he would absolutely dominate in a playoff type series. So that's a brutal blow for Ridley Gregg, especially because he hasn't had the chance to play as many games as he normally would with COVID changing things here. So hopefully, not sure how it's going to go for Brandon in the playoffs, but hopefully they can make a run out of it and he can join them later on.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of their only hope at this point,
Yeah.
right? So you're just hoping that can be the way it crumbles. They are playing the Red Deer Rebels. They're the 6th seed playing against Red Deer, who's at number 3. The other Sens prospects in the WHL, they're both 8 seeds, both going up against dominant top seeds. So we'll see how long Zach Ostapchuk and his Vancouver Giants can take on the Everett Silvertips. And can Carson Latimer lead Prince Albert to what would be the biggest upset potentially in CHL history?
Let's go Lats. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's him.
There you go. The Kingston Frontenac, so Levi Marilainen and Ben Roger, they are the number 2 seed. Number 3 seed. North Bay is the 2 seed playing in 67's. Kingston is the 3 seed playing against the Oshawa Generals. That series gets underway Friday. So tomorrow for that series, both of the WHL series start Friday as well. And then tonight, it is the Ottawa 67's and North Bay Battalion. Tyler Boucher season is here. The playoffs are here. Sounds like he's as healthy as he's been in a long time. So that in itself is pretty exciting because he mentioned it in the interview, and it's not that he's making any excuses. You'll hear it in a moment, but clearly there's been some lingering things throughout this season.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, like this is the longest a lot of players have played in a long time. So you're going to be banged up, and especially Tyler Boucher, it has not been smooth sailing for him this year with injuries, with COVID, with moving leagues, countries even. He's had to battle through a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's feeling it, but if there's anyone that's going to make sure they're getting on the ice for a playoff game, I think it's Tyler Boucher, because we just talked about Ridley Gregg being a playoff type performer. Oh man, can't wait to see what Tyler Boucher can do in the playoffs as well.
Absolutely. And if you're wondering about Philippe Daou out in St. John with the Sea Dogs, the Quebec League shut down for longer than both the OHL and WHL. So their regular season doesn't end until May 1st. And then we'll tell you who they're playing in the first round. No matter what happens, though, for the Sea Dogs, they will be playing the Memorial Cup as they are hosting the event this year. All right, let's get to our interview with Tyler Boucher. Pilsy, before we get to that, I believe you have a word from one of your favorite sponsors.
One of my favorite sponsors indeed, because I just got hooked up with a nice new pair of sunglasses. Summer's not quite here yet, but you want to get ready because when that sun does come out, you're going to want some ShadyRays for your eyes. ShadyRays is an independent sunglasses company that gives you the features of expensive sunglasses for a fraction of the price. That means polarized lenses, well-constructed durable frames, and premium high-end finishes. These things look sharp, let me tell you that. Also, something you won't find anywhere else is ShadyRays' insane protection program. It really is crazy. I've read it multiple times because it seems like it's too good to be true. I'm telling you, ShadyRays includes lost and broken protection on every single pair. They will send you a brand new pair if you lose them, no matter what happened. Who does that? Only ShadyRays. Give them a try, and if you don't love them, you'll pay nothing. Nothing. It's as simple as that. So they're taking on all the risks because they are so sure you're going to love this product. Plus, they're good people too. Plus, every time you order with ShadyRays, 10 meals are donated to fight hunger in America. Exclusively for our listeners, we're hooking you guys up. Head to ShadyRays.com and use promo code LOCKEDON to get 50 half off % of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Guys, that's code LOCKEDON for their best deal of the season. Get ready for summer. 50% off 2 or more pairs of ShadyRays sunglasses. backed by over 150,000 verified 5-star reviews. Check them out today. ShadyRays sunglasses.
All right, Pilsy, before we get to Tyler Boucher, I just want to pull this up because we are a pro Tkachuk podcast, clearly with Brady Tkachuk. This was a great moment last night. Matthew Tkachuk scored his 99th point of the season, one-upping Keith Tkachuk's best season at 98, so gave him the puck for that. My question to you, Pilsy, will Brady Tkachuk ever have a 99-point season in the NHL?
Man, that's tough because I think he can get close, but 99 points is pretty wild, and Brady does a lot of other things other than get points that he focuses in on. But when you start thinking about it, Ross, like think about Norris, Tkachuk, Batherson as a top line 2-3 years from now when they're fully comfortable in the NHL. Not that they're not comfortable in the NHL now, but when they've got a few notches in their belt, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
And then maybe you have a second or third line where Tyler Boucher's running around causing absolute havoc. We talked to him about where the line is. And I love that question from @Laleem's Martian. Yes, the Postcast crew is doing this interview. And if you follow @Laleem's Martian on Twitter, the Tyler Boucher defender, there's no way we could have Tyler on without introducing him. And a little off-air banter afterwards. Tyler has noticed Martian's rowdiness at the Civic Center.
Hard to go unnoticed, that guy.
Which you absolutely love to see. So without further ado, here's our chat with Ottawa 67's forward, Tyler Boucher. All right, we now welcome back a very, very special guest to Locked On Senators. It's Ottawa 67's forward, Senators first-round pick from the 2021 draft, Tyler Boucher. Tyler, what's going on, man? How are you?
How's it going? Good, how are you?
Good. Last time we had you on, you're moving into a dorm room in BU. What's the difference between dorm life and billet life?
I mean, now I got someone to cook for me. I guess that's the biggest difference. So it's that's a good part.
Are you not doing any of the cooking?
Well, actually, I just cooked dinner tonight for my my billet family. So, but normally I'm off the hook.
Nice. What was on the menu?
We had some steak, some shrimp, fried rice, and broccoli. Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Well, you got to follow up.
You play like a steak guy, that's for sure.
100%. Meat and potatoes. What do you cook it? Medium rare?
Yeah, medium rare. It's a go-to. Everyone likes that.
Sweet. Yep. And that's a good pregame. You guys playing your first playoff game tomorrow, man, up in North Bay. What's the vibe like around the dressing room for you guys?
Yeah, we take off tomorrow, so everyone's excited. Yeah, I mean, we're glad we got into the playoffs. It was looking a little shaky. We weren't too sure maybe about a month ago, but we got a real solid group. I know we're a little bit young, but we're looking to go far.
Yeah, you've played North Bay a couple times here. So what do you feel like you have to do to have success up against them, especially now that it's playoff hockey, a little different than the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, I've played them once. I know the guys have played them a bunch of times, but they seem to be a little bit of a bigger physical team. But I think we'll be just fine. And I think we've been playing good hockey, and we're confident in ourselves. So we feel good going to this series, and we're looking to do some damage.
So I guess the follow-up to my initial question is from moving from BU to the OHL, and this is probably the most boring question, but I have to ask it because I'm curious. Now that you've played more than a handful of games at both levels, what's the biggest difference between the style of play at each?
Yeah, I get asked this question a lot. I mean,
yeah, again, sick question by me. You can say it.
Great question.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, guys are older in college. Obviously, it's like I would say it's a little more physical, but I mean, the biggest difference I would say for me, it's just, I mean, you're playing a pro schedule here, and in college you play, 2 games a week. On the weekends, you practice all week and work out, and then you could go to the weekend and play 2 games. But here it's, you got some weekday games. It's a little bit different. You got to, prepare your body differently. Something I think it's good for me. And I mean, I haven't played a lot of games in the past 2 years, so it's good for me to get some games under my belt and start feeling good again.
Yeah, I think you came in there with what was it, 32 games left on the schedule or something, and then I mean the shoulder injury was obviously a kind of brutal way to start the OHL career there for you. But I was wondering a little bit more about, how it was when you came in initially and how it was trying to gel with these guys, because they are probably a little bit of a younger group. And maybe if you have any stories or any characters on that team you want to get into, because it seems like to me, just based on watching them, that there's a few on-ice characters. I'm just wondering if the boys are like that off the ice as well.
Oh, I could go down the list with characters. We got a bunch of funny guys in the room. But yeah, I mean, obviously going to a new team is obviously a little weird. I mean, it doesn't really happen too much during the halfway through the year. I mean, maybe in the NHL, you get traded, or I mean, I guess in junior, yeah, people get traded all the time. But it was good. I mean, at the start, like you said, I got hurt, but I got some good bonding time with my separated shoulder there on that trip. But it was good. Yeah, we got a bunch of characters. I go down the list. My roommate Jack Beck, Brady Stonehouse.
Yeah, he seems like one of those for sure. That Stonehouse boy.
Oh yeah, Luca Pinelli.
Oh yeah,
funny guy. Yeah. I mean, everyone's funny. We got a good group, and I really love our team in the room.
good players too there. And so what do they call you? Are you got a nickname, or are they just calling you Boosh?
Yeah, just Boosh. That's
Yeah.
my go-to.
Simple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice
that's
and
pretty
simple.
cool.
There's one going around. I feel like every time you throw a board-shattering hitter, I guess what? You shattered the glass a couple
Glass?
weeks ago.
Yeah.
The Butcher comes out. How are we feeling about that one? Lukewarm? Do we like it?
I mean, that's fine with me. I kind of roll with anything. I mean, normally people will call me Butcher, just people who can't pronounce my last name, but
Nice.
just butchering
It's probably a little bit easier now being in like a Franco, Ontario, right on the border there. You're probably
Yeah.
getting Boucher a bit better than you were in the States.
Yeah, people get it right off the hop. I had a hard time in school growing up. People would mess it up, but now here it's perfect. So kudos to all the Canadians here.
How are you fitting into Ottawa? You like the town?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the weather's gotten better. I mean, it was a little bit tough when I first got here. It was pretty chilly, but
Scottsdale kid, eh?
yeah.
Jeez.
A little different.
yeah, a little bit, but not too bad. It's hockey weather. It's good. And I mean, yeah, like I said, it's warmed up. We've grabbed a couple bites to eat. So with some of the guests, it's been good. I got to experience a little bit more, and yeah, I really love the city.
And how cool is it being in the city of the NHL team that drafted you? Like, that's a pretty rare thing to be able to kind of have that connection. Have you been able to kind of connect with the Sens or Sens fans in the city of Ottawa? Like, what's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, definitely rare, but it's really cool. I got them right there, and I think for right now, they're kind of just letting me play, finish my season, and we'll kind of probably chat afterwards. But I mean, it's great. I'm in touch with them a lot, just kind of talking about my game a little bit. But other than that, I mean, kind of just like I said, letting me play. And but yeah, it's really unique to have the NHL team in the same city, and obviously that's a goal of mine and my dream, and I really want to get there. But for now, I'm focused on my run with the 67's, and that time will come.
Who's your main point of contact with the Sens? Is it 67's legend Shean Donovan or one of the other guys?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's Dono.
Nice.
Yeah, he's great. He's always checking up on me, and definitely chat a lot.
First ever guest on this show about 550 episodes ago. Crazy enough, way back in 2018. But
He's the man.
Oh,
He's
he's the
awesome.
best. But you haven't had one of his bag skates yet, have you? I hear you might not think the same. Oh, you have?
Oh yeah, I have.
Tell us what it's like, because we had Angus Crookshank on. He's been hurt all
Yeah.
year, and he says he's just getting run down.
Yeah, I mean, I was there because he was rehabbing his knee, and that's kind of that was when I first got here. I started off in Belleville for about a week there, and then I came here, and then I was skating at CTC for about 2-3 weeks, kind of with an injury I've been dealing with all year. But just kind of get me back up to speed when I came back, and yeah, those skates aren't easy, but I mean they're good. I mean, you do that 7 times a week. I think you could skate for 3 periods and not have to change. So it's they were definitely good, and probably gonna have some more of them. So looking forward to it.
That's the way Dono played, though, man. 100 miles an hour everywhere on the ice. Did
Oh,
your
he could
dad have
skate.
any stories from back in the day? I'm sure he played against him.
I played with him actually.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he played with him in Calgary, I believe. So yeah, I think they know each other a bit. But yeah, that's that.
Speaking of knowing each other, in a rare year where there's COVID, you don't have dev camp like you typically would. Was it nice to get to meet? I'm sure you met Pinner and Crookshank, all those guys who were hurt, kind of getting a feel for the rink when you got here.
Yeah. when I first got there, yeah, obviously I got to meet all those guys, and yeah, they were super nice and welcoming. It was actually funny. I remember after a couple of those skates, I asked, because I was pretty tired, and I was like just wondering. I was like, am I in bad shape or what? And then I asked Pinner, and he was like, no, those are hard. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, Dono, he runs a good skate, and we actually played them. It was me and Whitey. We played them 2-on-2. It was him and Winchy, and they beat us, which was a little tough. But I'm hoping to get some revenge in the future.
That is tough. Those guys are long gone. You guys got to step it up. Maybe
They got the
put
experience,
that-
though.
Hey, they
that's
still got
old
it.
man strength, though. That's old man strength.
Yeah.
You know what? Any sport, you play against your dad or anyone like that, you're always going to be it's going to be tough when you're facing an older guy like that.
100%.
Speaking of tough, though, I mean, you play a tough game, man. I've been enjoying the shit out of watching you play night in, night out here for the 67's. Like that's the kind of hockey that we like here in Ottawa. So it's really nice to be able to see you do that. I just had a question, about the line. Where the line is in the OHL is probably different from where it is in college. And you seem, you found the line pretty early. I think you took a couple minors early on.
The Ridley Gregg move, eh? First game, see ya.
Yeah, but finding that line is something that when you play on the edge like you have to do. So I'm just curious, how that process was, and you don't seem to ever really cross the line nowadays, right? Like you get involved in the scrums, but you're not, the first guy jumping in or escalating things, right? You do it smartly. So I'm just curious about that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, for me, that's kind of always been the thing that I've always tried to figure out. I think I play a pretty unique game. I'm always trying to find a way to balance it all. I mean, you don't want to have more than the other. So, yeah, I mean, before I think I was just taking too many penalties. And like you said, I think I was crossing the line a little bit, maybe just like stuff after the whistle and stuff like that. But I think here, I think I've stayed out of the box quite a bit. I've
Except for
kind
the
of
last few games since the majors, right?
yeah, I mean,
We like
yeah,
that too.
those will
different.
get you. But
that'll
yeah, like I just go out there and play. I think I play pretty hard, and if someone doesn't like it, then I mean they can come do something about it. And I mean some people have, so that's when I'm gonna step in. I'm not afraid to back down from that. So I guess that's kind of the way I've been rolling. I mean, when I first got here, obviously it's different in college. Like you can go run somebody and you got a cage on, like nothing's going to happen to you. I mean, maybe someone's going to be like, oh, I'm going to come after you, but most chances they're not. But here, I mean, you do wear visors, and you do have to answer the bell every once in a while. So, I mean, that's how it is in the NHL. So I have no problem with it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You're doing a great job, and we love seeing it. All Sens prospects. I don't know if you saw Ostapchuk from your draft class took on a 6'9" monster and took him to school last week. So we'd love to see that. Yeah, good stuff, man. You should see the video of that one.
Yeah, you have to send it to me.
Yeah, 100%. Man, you've been putting some pucks in the net too. So how did that process play out with Coach Cameron? Obviously, everyone knows Dave Cameron, former Senators coach, and now he's just kind of a teacher of the game from everything that we've heard about him. How did he kind of get your confidence up right off the bat coming off that injury and getting you up to speed?
Yeah, he kind of just told me when I came in, he's like, you're not going to play your career in one game. So that's kind of the message I took. And he kind of just like, I'm the type of person who wants, results, like as everyone does. But he kind of just told me, he's like, your game to be 100% come playoff time, and that was our goal. And I feel pretty good right now. I mean, I'd like to produce a little bit more, obviously, but I think I'm doing okay for now, and I'd like to step it up in the playoffs here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was wondering, playing your own game and things like that, and continuing to grow and develop. What are you, using as motivation to kind of continue to get better and better each and every day? I don't know if you're one of those guys who kind of crawls social media to see what people are saying about you, to maybe use that as some sort of motivation, or if you just kind of ignore that and kind of do your own thing, and just focus on yourself and work hard. Or I'll let you answer the question before I give you too much.
Yeah,
too many options.
Yeah, I mean, I stay off of social media. I mean, I just go on Instagram, whatever, follow your buddies or follow some accounts or whatnot. But I mean, I'm kind of just in my own bubble, my own world. like I said, I kind of just take it day by day. And like I said, it's not going to be overnight. And just looking to get 1% better every day. And I'm on the right path. I'm healthy, which is the biggest thing for me. It's been a little shaky the past 2 years with injuries, but that can definitely kill momentum. But just like I said before, just playing games again and watching video, getting practices, like a lot of them under my belt, and just looking to grow my game that way.
Love that, man. Love that. Well, we're excited to watch you. We got tickets game 3. Mackie hooked us up. Mackie also told us you're the only millennial who doesn't have their phone on them 24/7. Is that just something that you've never really had? You're not one of those guys who's got it out 24/7?
Yeah, I mean, just like I'd probably say the past couple months. I mean, I just never really answer my phone that much. I mean, it's consistent for everyone though. Even my mom's like, "Why aren't you answering me?" Or my dad. I kind of don't text him back for like 2 days. But yeah, I kind of just get off my phone and kind of just, I don't know, go do other things.
That's good, man. That's I feel like that's something that a lot of kids should take, and myself included, that put it down for a little bit. I want to ask you about your dad too, because obviously we had him on the show. One of our best interviews all time. My favorite was he ruined your birthday party, being all pissy after Ovi pulled the corkscrew goal on him. And actually, I don't know if I preferred that story. Pilsy, which one did you like better? That story or when Joe Thornton was taking clappers at Tyler's head?
That was pretty funny because seeing you as a little, or picturing you as a little kid with Joe Thornton just absolutely cranking shots at you. Like, hey, if you want to add toughness at a young age, I think that'll do it.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's crazy. He's still in the league.
Yeah, those are good ones. I mean, that Jumbo story is pretty funny. I actually like do remember that one, even though I was in kindergarten. It was
kindergarten. Jeez.
Yeah, I was. We were in San Jose, and I kind of just. I mean, I didn't really have a position at the time. I kind of loved goalie at the time, to be honest. I would just like my dad. I think he got me a set of like.
That's naturally. Yep.
Yeah, I think he got me a set of Vaughn pads or whatnot. Yeah, I had my own Vaughn pads, which I just loved them. I'd play street hockey in them and wherever. And he took me out there, and whatever. Some of the guys would, when you get out there, you're warming up, you're just shooting pucks going around. I'd be in the net before they get out there, and guys would come in and float some muffins at my pads, make me feel good. And then I just remember Joe Thornton stepping over the blue line, full clap bomb over my shoulder. I think it rung off the crossbar, went to the ceiling. Everyone was just looking around. I remember just like, oh my God, like, and then my dad was like, he was just in shock. He's like, what are you doing? He's in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh yeah, he loves it. Like,
Joe's just that good. He knows he's not going to hit you. He's like, no, I'll just hit the crossbar, just scare him a little. I'm not going to miss.
Precision accuracy. Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
I feel like your mom might have asked him to do that, so you stared yourself out of being a goalie, because I feel like having a husband as a goalie is enough. I feel, was that something at a young age your mom's like, no, please, Tyler, I can't do another one?
Yeah, I mean, I think she kind of told my dad that maybe, but I know for a fact that she did not want me to be a goalie and kind of just take another route. And I mean, I like the route I took.
I think it's worked.
Are you one of the guys? Will you grab Max or Will's blocker trapper at the end of practice and go mix it up in there?
I have not yet. I have not. I mean,
all right. So you're not really a true goalie hugger. That's okay. That's okay.
What if the team needs an e-bug? You putting your hand up just in case?
Maybe.
Who would you vote in? Move. Who's the one guy in your squad right now who you'd want to see throw on the pads?
Jack Beck.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
I'd love to fire some at right at his throat.
Not because he's good, just so you can get some revenge.
No, he's my roommate. He's always messing with me, so I'd like to get him back.
A little revenge. That's good.
Yeah. No, it'll be funny.
Did you know any of the guys before you came to the 67's?
Yeah, I knew Becker. We're good buddies. So I met him in Michigan last summer when we were training there, and I don't know, somehow we just became really good friends. And funny enough, we're playing on the same team now. So, and he was obviously nice enough to welcome me into his billet house and kind of set me up and show me around. So I thank him a lot for that. And yeah, he's a really good dude, really good friend.
Perfect. That's great for you. Who in that locker room is the team DJ? Who's running the tunes?
I'd say Jack Mateer. Jack Mateer.
I gotta know these things, being boots on the ground, right?
Yeah, I mean he he kind of just plays the old school tunes, some rock, whatever. I mean, that's kind of he's there. He's been here for a while, so I mean, I'm not gonna step in and really touch anything. Just kind of let him do his thing, and the team has their routine, so I didn't want to break any of that. So I kind of just go with the flow, and yeah, they like the old school throwback tunes.
All right, and if you had a goal song, what are you picking?
Oof.
You put him on the spot here, Ross. This is
that's
or a fight
question.
song. How about that? The gloves drop. What's going on the speakers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
a little fight music D12.
Maybe I don't know about a song, but maybe just like the boxing ring, ding 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 when it goes down. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's awesome. I like that one. Phil's, you got anything else?
I know you haven't been in the OHL that long, but if we could get a scouting report, you have played against Kingston a couple times, and goalie friendly show. You've played up against Levy Maryland a few times. You got a scouting report for us?
He scored on him a couple times, Billsy.
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah, he's a really good goalie. He actually, he played last game, had a really good game. He's actually in my agency, so
nice.
Yeah, my agent kind of every time I go to play them, he's kind of giving me stuff to say to him or whatnot. But
or slow down so you don't ruin his next contract. Don't score so many goals on him.
Yeah, I mean he's a really good goalie, really sound. We have a tough time scoring on him, so. I think my roommate gave me a stat on him. Don't quote me on this exactly, but I think
we'll stop recording.
Something like he hasn't been scored on
about the shootouts.
Yeah, or breakaway or shootouts.
On a breakaway since January. Yeah,
I believe
something like that.
He's king at the breakaway.
He went 4 for 4 on the shootout you guys had with them over the weekend too. Yeah. I mean, that's a great kind of raw skill for attendee to have. So I mean, you kind of work out from there.
Yep.
And man, that's a flush position now in Ottawa. I have a question for you, and this is more just general, but we were having the conversation on the podcast the other day because obviously Mad Sogard gets up, plays some games in the NHL. Like, does that give a little extra confidence? Because for me, if you look back and there's a guy who's 6'8" in goal, like I feel like the other team's coming down. There's nothing to shoot at.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the goalies are just getting better and better. I haven't really seen him play too much, but I hear great things about him, that he's a really great goalie. But, yeah, I mean, the goalies are getting better and better, so it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, I guess. It's we don't need a bunch of Darren Pangs in goal, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hey, we don't want to keep you too much longer. Martian, you got anything else? Kids got to get to North Bay tomorrow. We're actually going to air this on Thursday. So it's officially an Ottawa 67's playoff game day, and that in itself is sick. Martian, you got any last ones for Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, it's 9:24 right now, so we don't want to keep you too late because that's Jake. It's way past
No worries.
Jake Sanderson's bedtime.
Oh,
right?
Jake's been asleep for 2 hours.
Yeah, we know his bedtime's a little earlier than most. But yeah, I had one last question for you, and that was just I was wondering who in the current NHL right now are you kind of watching and emulating your game after? If there's any
guys I've kind of always watched or started watching, I'd say the past 2 years. I like I love Tom Wilson. I love guys like, Josh Anderson. I like Matthew Tkachuk. I like Brady, obviously. Kind of guys like that. That's kind of who I would like to play like, and kind of just watch them and steal a few things.
Well, I want to add one more to your list, and I think that's Tanner Jeannot, another guy who he didn't put up huge numbers in the OHL, but now he's playing. He's basically a Calder candidate right now in Nashville. So
yeah,
Tanner Jeannot.
I like that. Yeah, he's a good player.
That is a solid one too. He chalks them too. I think he's like top 3 in fighting majors in the whole league. Now I'm going to follow up there as my last question, Tyler. And again, appreciate you doing this right before playoff game day. This is Tyler Boucher's season going into postseason play. Brady Tkachuk mentioned that he met you a few years ago. Take us through your first time meeting Brady Tkachuk, because I feel like I think it was your dad that tweeted out when you were drafted that, usually a kid who I think he's 2-3 years older than you just meet and move on. But apparently he kept contact with you over the years.
Yeah. Well, he reached out. I was at a tournament in Russia when I was playing with NTDP my 17 year. And yeah, I got a text from Brady Tkachuk, and I was just like, oh my God, like just texted me out of the blue. And then, time went on. He always checked up on me. I was obviously committed to BU at the time and going into BU, and yeah, he always followed up to see how I was doing, and I mean, he played at NTDP too, so
Yep.
yeah, he kind of just followed up, and I met him for the first time actually last summer, and yeah, he's a really good dude. Just a solid guy. Off the ice, always been super nice to me. He always doesn't have checking on me ever, obviously, but he always did and still does sometimes. So, yeah, great dude, and I thank him a lot for that.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't realize the BU connection. That makes a lot more sense now, too. And you can tell the kind of team that the Ottawa Senators are building, man, and we can't wait for you to be a part of it. But first, you got some business to take care of. So we'll be boots on the ground, or boosh on the ground, as Martian likes to say, for Game 3, buddy. So go kill him in North Bay, and we'll see you back at the Civic Center on Monday night. Thanks for doing this, buddy.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Stick taps to Tyler for joining us. Really appreciate that. Great kid, great player. Excited to see him in postseason play. All right, speaking of postseason, as Pillsy said off the top, the Belleville Senators now have 5 wins in a row. 5 wins in a row after finding themselves outside the playoff picture not too long ago. We'll get into that last win after I tell you a quick word from our friends at Bet Online. Bet Online is the #1 sportsbook, the only sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, and for great reason as well. They have all the latest odds, totals, player performance props. You can even bet on fun props. I know Deebo Samuel asked for a trade from the San Francisco 49ers, so Bet Online, you can go there and you can bet on which team he's going to play for next. I love bets like that, like where the next fired coach is going to land. BetOnline.net is the #1 spot for all your sports betting needs, and it also remains the best spot for your sports scores, podcasts, and news throughout the season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. It's BetOnline.net, where the game starts. All right, Pillsy. So, the Belleville Senators. Now we're talking. Now we're getting into a topic that has some meat on it, because Victor Lodin now has 4
Slick
goals.
Vic.
4 goals in 7 games. He's got 4 points, in his last 5 games. He's just adding so much to a team that we kept saying was desperate for more offense.
Yeah, like him coming over from Sweden could not have happened at a better time, because like we've already mentioned multiple times, Belleville is losing players left, right, and center to help out their big brother club in Ottawa. So getting some reinforcements from overseas was a massive blessing. And Victor Lodin, he's making the AHL seem pretty simple, because he's seamlessly transitioned from the SHL to the AHL. And both his goals last night, Ross, were beauties. Like the first one especially, he picks off a Marlies pizza through the middle of the ice. Like, what? I don't know what that guy was thinking to make that pass. Victor Lodin gets it all alone, snipes it right past Michael Hutchison, nice and easy. And then not only does he score again, but it's the game winner with like a minute and a half left, tied at 4-4. He knocks down the puck as it heads to the net and fires it past the goalie again. And that's his second goal. And that ends up being the winner. And Ross, I watched this whole game from start to finish. This was as classic a Belleville Senators versus Toronto Marlies game as you can get. High scoring, the overhit, of course.
Guarantee on the over.
Guarantee on the over, especially when Michael Hutchison's playing. And back and forth. Like, there was no point where either team was firmly like, you're going to win this game. Sure, the Marlies get up 2-0, but you got to remember, this is a Toronto Leafs franchise team, so a 2-0 lead. The Belleville Senators had them exactly where they wanted them.
Yep.
And they end up climbing back, and they get the 5-4 win. Shout out Mad Sogard. He made a bunch of good saves, and we saw good performances all around here, Ross.
And what I love, too, is, Sogard, the Great Danes save percentage, not where you would expect it to be or where it has been since he got back. Of course, 70 saves on 72 shots going into this one. Here he allowed 4 goals on 28 shots, but he made a huge breakaway save in the second period when they were still down, I believe, 2-1 at the time, and really allowed them to gain the momentum going forward. So the scoring was wild. It was back and forth. You mentioned down 2-0 after the first period. Momentum goal, pesky at the end of the first, really put them down. But Lodin makes it 2-1. Kastelic makes it 2-2. Reinhart makes it 3-2. And how about that? Like the recency of all these draft picks. Like you got 2019 pick Mark Kastelic scoring a goal, 2020 pick Nicole Reinhart scoring, assisted by 2020 pick Sokolov, and a 7th-round pick in Max Gannett, getting another assist there. But then Robertson tied it back up at 3. Belleville goes up 4-3, then 4-4, and then 5-4. So it was really back and forth. Toronto never led after 2-0, right? They just kept tying it back up. But Lassie Thompson with his 10th goal of the season in that one. So we had been talking about how it was really the vets carrying them, and now that's transferred over. The kids were all right last night. The average age of the Senators goal scorers has to be 21, 22?
21, I would say. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so that in itself, I think, is super impressive. They did a good job of staying out of the box, I thought, in the third period after a little bit of penalty trouble in the second. They went down 5-on-3 after Sabrin took a slash, and then Logan Shaw had to delay a game afterwards. So in a situation like that where they get scored on that 5-on-3, that's when Nick Robertson tied it up at 3. You're like, okay, like, damn, they've kind of got the momentum here. 3 seconds left in the period, they scored, but both times, right, they scored with less than 2 minutes left in the first period, and Lodin scores in the first 4 minutes of the second, and then Lassie Thompson put them back ahead not even 2 minutes into the third period. So the way that they were able to regroup, I think that's showing growth in the locker room as well, being like, we're not going to get rattled. It's all good. We're just going to go out there and win it in regulation.
Yeah.
It would just be an extra cherry on top. I don't really care who they hold out of the playoffs. Aaron Dell would be nice, but the Marlies would be nice too, because you know that their payroll is triple whatever all these other AHL teams are. So if Ricoh Coliseum is empty in the next week or so, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. And I think it's Coca-Cola Coliseum now. It was Ricoh back in the day. But
there you go. They probably got a more lucrative sponsor. Shocking.
Yeah, weird, eh? For sure. But Ross, now we can take a look at the standings. And
I got them.
You got them here? Okay, so it's looking better and better. If you're watching on YouTube, we got it pulled up here. And
it's looking very nice for the Belleville Sens.
Very nice, but still, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, because the Syracuse Crunch are 0.001% behind Belleville. Like, it is absolutely insane how close these teams are. And Syracuse Crunch, Ross, that's Belleville's next opponent on Friday. And then the next 2 games are up against the Marlies. And the Marlies, their games, they only play 5 games, 3 of them up against Laval, and then the other 2 up against Belleville. So the Marlies have their work cut out for them. But Belleville can be the master of their own destiny here if they can continue this win streak. Imagine they end the season, Ross, with an 8-game win streak. Oh, that'd be nice.
Talk about going into the playoffs feeling good about themselves. However, you said it's still really close, but I feel like it's really, really close between them getting a bye and having to play in the play-in series, whereas before it was close whether or not they were even going to make the playoffs. So that in itself, I think, is a huge victory here. And they still have a lot of work to be done. 2 more games this weekend, and then they have to wait a full week before their season finale against the Toronto Marlies. They're going to play 2 of their last 3 games against the Marlies. If they win 1 of those games, they might force Toronto into that 6th spot just with that loss, right? Because Toronto's got to jump now 3 teams to get past Belleville. So it's going to go right down to the wire, but a 5-game win streak certainly makes you feel a little bit better about things, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt Sogard, sure, the 4 goals on less than 30 shots doesn't look great, but a lot of those goals, there wasn't much he could do. Like, 2 of them were off quick rebounds that he makes the first save, defense just can't clear the puck, and then that Robertson goal, like, that's a breakaway. He's coming in with speed, and he pulls off one hell of a move. Not much chance for Sogard there. So I'm still really confident in Sogard's ability to keep this team going forward.
I was shocked to see Nick Robertson in the lineup. I thought he was the savior for the Maple Leafs like 2 years ago. Huh.
Yeah, weird.
Guess they just needed a 26-year-old rookie to go fill up that line with Matthews and Marner.
He's just waiting on his $11 million contract before he heads up, Ross.
Right. Yeah. That's the Maple Leafs way. All that to say, I do want to shout out Alexander Ovechkin. There's just a wild statistic. 50 goals for the 9th time.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a different play. That is wild.
Sure.
But how about, did you see where he told the ref, no, don't call that a penalty? Like, that's not a penalty. Like, what a vet move. Not only to have the sportsmanship to do that, because like, why wouldn't you take a power play, especially
You're Ovechkin.
You're Ovechkin. Like, that's where you get your work done in your office. But, and then also for the ref to be like, yeah, Ovi says it's no penalty. So like, go to the penalty box or the timekeeper and say, Ovi said that penalty doesn't happen. So we're not going to call it. Like, what a move.
Yeah, I mean, he already had his cookies. He had 2 goals last night. So maybe
Nothing wrong with the Hattie though.
Yeah, maybe in a situation where it's a different time in the game, maybe he doesn't do that. Although it did go into overtime. Now, to me, the craziest part of all this, Pilsy, or not craziest, but what I wonder, if this is not a contract year, or if it is a contract year, he's in the first year of a new 5-year deal. I don't know if he's taking that move.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. So
yeah, it's weird, especially because like Pacioretty got a jersey pull in, like he
fully fell down and like lost control of the puck. Like, maybe I think he more lost balance than was tripped, but just an all time weird move. But shout out Ovi, that's class.
Yeah, only he and Mike Bossy 9 50-goal seasons, and rest in peace to Mike Bossy.
Mike Bossy. Yeah, if you guys are younger fans and don't really know much about Mike Bossy, quickly check out his hockey DB. This guy, one of the greatest pure goal scorers ever.
Yeah, and something to watch for about one of the best up-and-coming goal scorers. Yes, Brady Tkachuk. We mentioned that he's only not scored against a select number of teams. One of them is Columbus, so he has a chance to do that tomorrow.
He also hasn't scored against the Ottawa Senators, just so you know, Ross.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I forgot to add that to my tweet. Anyways, give us a follow on social media at Sens Central on Twitter, at LOCKEDON.Senators. Do they even say at on Instagram?
Couldn't tell you. Sounds right.
I know that when you go to the internet, it's www.youtube.com if you want to subscribe to Locked On Senators on YouTube. And we'll be back tomorrow previewing the weekend. We're going to go get some COVID tests done, make sure we're all set to get to Ottawa. And we cannot wait to see everyone at Stanley's Bar and Grill Saturday, 3 p.m. Go there, 3 hours. If you want to drink some Coca-Cola, some Sprite, let's just get together, have some fun. $5 pints if that's your poison. And then we'll walk on over to the CTC around 6 o'clock. Cannot wait for Senators, Habs. The vibes will be immaculate. I'm heading to get COVID test now, then the airport tomorrow. And I cannot wait to see everyone rocking the black, red, and white at the CTC. Hope you enjoyed our interview with Tyler Boucher. Make sure you're following at Lalim's Martian. He'll have clips for you tonight from his first ever postseason game. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.